Hey there, my lovely viewers. Welcome back. I am Tamika Hicks, and today I wanted to share a personal journey that's close to my heart. How learning to sew not only changed my career path, but also transitioned my entire perspective on success and fulfillment. All of this transpired in a world that often values degrees over skills. My story is a reminder that having a trade is just as critical as formal education. Okay, let's dive into my journey from leaving a corporate job to embrace the art of sewing. So, before the sewing part came, it was more of a DIY space. So, diving into the sewing part, the sewing kind of became a very therapeutic space for me while I was working. So when I on my days off, I just chill, watch, for a while, watch some videos and got a little confidence. And I remember the first thing that I made was, I think it was either a pillowcase cover or either a infinity scarf. Cause so for a while I was really, really into the infinity scarves heavy. I remember making them at the job, and I remember my director wanted me to make her one. And honestly, I didn't want her wearing my stuff. Um, I think in a way I'm kind of funny about close people to me that don't really like me getting their hands on my items. Y'all keep me covered. I'd rather have a stranger wear an item of mine than somebody in my area. That's just me. So, because anyway, so I went and purchased a sewing machine from a lady, and I met her at one of the local beaches. And it was a really nice machine. She barely used it. It wasn't a computerized sewing machine or nothing. It was really nice. I think it was a Singer 3323. I think I still have it. And she just worked so much. She really ain't had time. She only wanted $60 for it. And pretty much that's where it all began. Um, you couldn't tell me nothing about that sewing machine. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I made it work. Learning how to thread the bobbin, learning how to thread the machine itself. I remember watching Misha Glenn videos, God rest her soul. She was a very talented seamstress. And I used to watch her videos on YouTube. And that's kind of how I started. And sewing came into my life at a very important time because towards the last 7 months or so of working there, I had lost a parent. So it was a really tough time. And it just kind of helped me get through that part of my life. So, all right. Um, so I want to talk about the corporate grind. Just picture, at one point in time, I was really, really just out there chasing um, that corporate check. I was getting that overtime. I was participating in group meetings. I was just doing a lot of different things. And, despite the, I guess you could say the glossy exterior of things, um, something was actually missing. You know, I wasn't able to be creative. And there was really no growth in the position that I was in. So I was kind of really in a stuck place because there were other roles within the company in the department I was in. However, I didn't have enough like clinical hours. I didn't have um yeah, I didn't have the clinical hours to be able to go in and do like certain things. Um Even when I would apply for other positions that were outside of the program I was working, I got turned down. I have a whole nother theory of that, but I'm gonna just write it out. But I don't believe in no mistakes. Um, and when it was time to take a leap of faith, honestly, it wasn't all by myself. You know, I had no choice but to, just do what it is I want. I had been dreaming of doing like the power of manifestation is a it's an amazing thing. However, I noticed when those things started to come to life, I wasn't ready. So one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to be able to either put my daughter in a good private school or either be able to homeschool and not have her go through all the crazy stuff that my sons went through in public school. And when that opportunity came, it was challenging because the first year, I really didn't consider how long it would take to unschool. So again, I was just combining that with so much. But for the first couple of years, I didn't homeschool. I think it took about 2 years to. But anyway, prior, well, 2 years after leaving corporate. And basically discovering the whole world of sewing. Um, you know, in the midst of soul searching and discovering sewing and um I realized the the long history of seamstress that came before me. I remember right before my grandmother passed, I was like 13 or 14. She was sewing. And a lot of people didn't even know or act like they didn't know she sewed. And prior to her, I had a great aunt that sewed. And the crazy thing is, I actually have a really, really old sewing machine. I haven't had a chance to use it, but you know, it was just like, okay, this is confirmation. This is something I need to, it's worth, exploring. So, it just, it wasn't just about stitching fabric. It wasn't about, creating art that can be, worn, expressing myself through textures and colors. It just was, it wasn't just a hobby, it became a skill. Because after a while, it was just okay, once you learn how to sew one thing, you kind of venture out and you gain your confidence. That's no different than when you go into professional field. You gain your confidence, you want to apply for a job that you know you wouldn't generally qualify, but you say, you know what, I'm feeling myself, I'm gonna go for it. It was kind of like that. So so the transformation as I immersed myself into sewing, something incredible happened. My skills, they basically improved. And like I said, my confidence, I started making like really unique pieces. I remember making I don't even know what they call it, but I called it something else. And I showed it to one of my cousins, and she was like, "Oh my God, I like it." And the fabric that I picked, it was just like it was super comfortable. Like, I had got to the point where I learned, some of the fabrics that I really like to use. At, I was going out of town to certain warehouses, driving like 9 hours away, and it ended up being one of my favorite places in the world. And I could just literally just go get coffee and spend hours looking at the designs. And of course, I wasn't always able to go there. So a place that's close to here, I can drive 20 to 30 minutes in traffic and kind of do the same thing. So it was just an amazing experience creating different unique pieces from dresses to accessories. It just put me in a whole different space. Um, and some people became just, started to show interest. But where I'm from is it's a little different. So I wasn't looking to be like one of these world renowned fashion designers. I feel like people are born to do certain things, and then I'm not saying I'm not born to do it, but that's not my aspiration, right? At the time, none of that. So it was just amazing how that once a creative outlet was turning into a potential business. So let's talk about trade versus degrees. Now, throughout the journey, I learned that, you know, having a trade is just as important as having a degree. Formal education equips you with the knowledge, but the trade just gives you a tangible skill set that you can, use in various ways. You can basically provide that service, you can provide a product in a trade. But as time went on, the degree of study, I'm not saying that I feel like I plateaued in a certain area that I really did not want to stay in, if that makes sense. So I basically ended up being overqualified for position, and I don't want to get into it. But anyway, it's a great thing. It's an amazing story. So embracing entrepreneurship. The transition from working at a corporate position that you had to jump in, you had to be at a certain time, you couldn't leave, you were just a slave to the structure of that organization because you essentially signed a contract, right? When you accept that agreement. So that transition to being self-employed, it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Um, I was no longer like confined to someone else's vision. I had started crafting and creating my own future, my own vision. And sewing taught me not just, stitching, but like the resilience of it. Like it was seasons where I, barely broke even. It was learning how to market, um, being able to provide good customer service, and just actually being able to continue to be passionate at what you're doing. So the power of passion is really, really amazing. That it's a skill set that you gain during the process. Um, let's talk about finding fulfillment. So the most rewarding aspect is watching the project come together from scratch. That's no different if you're a baker. People that like to make sweets, they like the process, and honestly, they like when someone samples their food to tell them how great it is. Or once I create a customized product, I wait for a great review, right? So the fact that my design started to bring people joy and witness, you know, how they love the product that they got, it was really satisfying. So it reminded me that success isn't just about climbing a corporate ladder, it's about the impact you make and the satisfaction that you feel. So that was success. That became the new success for me. Like now they say orange is the new black. That became the new success for me because, you know, going through school, because I was so intelligent and I had the gift of knowledge, I was pushed. to do a lot of things that other people in my family weren't able to do. Like even recently having a conversation with the elder in my family and basically talking about the benefits of being an entrepreneur. And she was just like, oh, yeah, a lot of you guys are, because it's a lot of my younger cousins, they're entrepreneurs as well. And everybody do different things. And I was just telling her, it's not a horrible thing because, they grew up in a different generation. And even with some of the ones that are great at entrepreneurship, they struggle with the transition. They struggle with straddling the fence. I'm not. Um, some of the lessons learned through this journey, I realized that the social norms often overshadow the importance of trades. So I remember being in middle school and we did different trades. We did woodworking. Oh my God, I love cutting wood. Um, it was just so many different things that we did with our hands that I remember doing and I know that the kids aren't able to do unless they go to a whole other building. But all of that was in the same building that we were in middle school. So um and then they just started pushing college to us in a different way. Like, selling us a whole package and a dream. But the thing about it is a lot of people got caught and stuck in the systems of it. But I just feel like every time I come across a scholar, because I live close to some college campuses, I always tell them strive to get a certification if you're going to be in school, something that will set you aside from others that you can literally open a practice on your own doing or turn it into a business. That's what I tell them. So, um, yeah. So through this journey, a trade is a tangible skill that empowers you, especially in, times of uncertainty. It's a tool that can sustain you when a traditional job market might falter or fail. So again, looking at the social, like the economics of what's going on in the world today, having something like a service that you're good at, if you're a good cleaner, if it's just so many different skills. If you're great at taking pictures, you can do a few weddings, few different seasons. That's a stream of income. So we can really sum this up. Okay. In a world that places how high value on degrees, my journey from corporate to crafting taught me that having a trade is a priceless asset. Um, I really thought about it because my father was a carpenter. He literally built houses. Like I would see him building houses, everything you name it, foundation work to everything he did. I remember coming to some of his job sites, seeing him cutting wood and being really good at what he did. And he taught all of his nephews and sons, for the most part, a trade, even if it was painting, if it was tile work, whatever they gravitated to. Like one of my brothers, he know how to do stucco. So that was a major thing. But when it came to me, I I didn't get to learn a trade with that. But it's okay. It's okay. It's a lot of things that I learned how to do along with sewing. And if it's a few videos on my channel. Anyway, learning to sew wasn't just of course stitching. It was just a new chapter in my life that was, driven by passion, creativity, and the sense of entrepreneurship. So if you're contemplating the leap of faith into the world of trades, remember it's not just about what you have on paper. It's about what you can create with your hands and your heart. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I am Tamika Hicks. This is my story. If it resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more empowering content. Until next time, keep stitching your dreams and embracing the power of your unique skills.